ago, you'll have seen what a shithole the kitchen is.
Yeah, there's a kind of explanation for that because we were filming and... no, actually, that's not the filming stuff.
Got nothing to do with filming, Mark.
Right.
It's us.
Well, it's you.
Oh, my God. So nobody eats in this house?
No, I'm not saying that. It's just that I would help if I wasn't editing and stuff today because I feel bad. But I can't. I literally can't. Otherwise, you won't get a Sunday show.
Hang on a minute. What has any of that got to do with anything?
If you want to see a really funny argument, stay to the end, the very end of today's No Name Sunday show. Broom. Now, everyone I've seen, Natasha Tiramos, don't mention Broom again.
Oh,
so if you were around for the members live last night, explain to those who aren't family guests what happened.
No, I can't. You had to have been there. You
You didn't. You can easily explain it.
Mark!
The live went and suddenly she was out of sync and suddenly all the answers to the questions had a 3-minute delay.
And I've got a bit of a worry about my brain again this weekend, and I thought I was in a bloody different dimension. It was just horrendous. And people are still answering Broom.
Yeah, and Harry Kane. Kane and Broom are still coming through.
I've been unable to speak properly all morning, and I'm really worried about it.
Tim, Broom. It was very, I mean, I found it funny. I was just sitting alongside you. Anyway, let's say a few good mornings. Stuart G, Tim Reed, Sally O'Sullivan, April Hill, Elijah, Fiona Cromack, Della Nixon, Ashley Gardner. How are you, matey Flip? Nicole Marcella, Nicola Higgins. How are you, matey Flip?
Stuart G, hello, how are you? Claire H, hello,
Jackie
how
Valino.
are you? Leila Baziad, how are you? Jackie
Julie
Valino,
Phillips.
Nicola S, Tina Davis, Catherine Louise,
James
Julie
McBeer,
Phillips,
Laura S, Julie Cowan,
Steve Schultz, Steph Schultz,
Jenny Scan,
Holly S, Vanessa Hoggett.
Ellen, starting on an argument. Yeah, we start on arguments, we end on arguments, and there is a moment of extraordinary hypochondria at the end of the No Name Sunday show today.
Oh, look at this. It's not hypochondria. I can't speak. Natasha Mitchen, there was no delay for her. So she was in another dimension.
You were in a third dimension. There was a multiverse definitely going on last night. Someone just said they're waiting for my sausage and mash, and I thought that was a euphemism. Who's waiting for their sausage and mash?
Oh, they're having
Carly,
sausage.
you know, waiting for my sausage.
Oh, she's having sausage and mash. It's not even... What time is it? Oh, it's 12:20. Yeah, you can have
As
sausage.
she said, waiting for my sausage and mash, I was thinking, are we supposed to be doing sausage and mash?
Oh, no, I want sausage and mash.
Oh, don't. Sausage
Should we have sausage and mash tonight?
with a beautiful
With
red
onion
wine
gravy.
gravy. Jamie E, welcome. Jamie E, welcome.
I'm going to do a welcome song now.
Do it.
Anyone that joins the members area gets a welcome song that they can or cannot use. Can or cannot. Oh my God, does that make any sense? May or may not. I should have said may.
Can.
I haven't been making sense today, so I'm a bit worried.
What is that?
Yeah, Mark.
Jamie E.
May or may not use it as a ringtone, but I would just like to put a little warning out that we can't sing. And you have to bear in mind, this is Phoebe from Friends, not, name a great singer, Adele.
Van Morrison.
Adele from West Norwood, because that's where she grew up.
Yeah, Adele from West Norwood. I'm going to do the bass.
God, we're bigging this up now.
Yeah,
I can't
I'm going to do the guys. It's going to be sensational.
What's the name again? Now
Jamie E. What is wrong with you?
Okay.
Jamie E. Okay. Do you want me to do? Do you want me to do instrumentation or name?
Oh, okay. Do instrumentation. Stop. Oh no, I don't know what to do with it.
Okay.
Jamie E. Jamie E.
Jamie
you know when I looked up how to change your laugh, because I'm trying to change my laugh. One of the things that you have to be aware of in changing your laugh is, are you getting enough oxygen so that you don't snort? Because snorting is not a good thing when you're laughing. And I snort, and I whistle, and I rasp. I do all the things that are the worst things.
You mean rap?
So I've got to think
You
more.
rasp.
I've got to breathe
Okay.
more.
Let's go back. Let's go in with the beat again. Just looking at your name. Jamie E. I'm so sorry. Just do it.
Jamie E. Jamie E. Mark! What if he wants to use it as a ringtone?
Sorry about that.
Stop.
You could use that as a text.
Control. Jamie E, Jamie E, Jamie, Jamie, Jamie E. Welcome to the family guest area. Jamie E.
So you've got
Jamie E will end up leaving.
Jamie E's wondering what the hell is he entered into.
Jamie E's like, I'm out.
Yeah,
I've
ringtone
already
for the
had
doctor.
enough.
Well, Sam JP's had pie and mash for dinner. Well, you've got stew in the Sunday show.
Well, it's starting
actually,
to look grey.
That's kind of
Because I made the stew on Tuesday and I was like, oh God, what's it going to be like on Sunday? And then it was beautiful.
And I said you
sunshine.
were a bit stupid, didn't I?
I said, Mark, nobody's going to want the stew. Yeah. It's a stew, cobbler, Marmite and cheese.
Yeah. Broom, says Jane Grimsby.
I make a pudding that I don't like.
Your laugh is one of my favourite things about you, Nad, says Zoe.
Oh, that's very sweet.
Laura S, sausage
I
mash and
can't
onion
live
gravy.
with it anymore, though. I've had enough of it.
I like your laugh.
You've just totally lied.
No, I
you know when we were talking yesterday about the shit way men compliment, Mark, you do not like
No,
my laugh.
I like it when you laugh
Mark.
genuinely, but I don't like the laugh that you do like you're down the cellar of a pub.
But that's my genuine laugh.
Yeah, but there are other laughs. You've got more than one laugh, babe.
Yeah, but you don't choose your laugh, do you? You laugh.
But your laugh down the bottom of the pub is like when you can't change the barrel.
I know, it's horrible.
I like it though.
Okay. So welcome everybody. I hope you're having a nice Sunday. We are having a relatively good Sunday. We are trying to count our blessings in the face of a world where there is just so much.
Well, not enough carbon dioxide, clearly.
There's just so much going on. You know, when we were doing the news this morning for the No Name Sunday show, I went through the papers. Actually, I was so depressed by the end of it. I didn't do most of the stories that I read because I just thought, oh, God. But, you know, at the moment, I'm just trying to find gratitude in everything to get me through this way. And, you know, I have my lovely 3 friends, Titty Gritty, Hannah, and Dance Your Tits Off. Who I'm giving their Instagram names because you know them on Instagram. All of whom had breast cancer. We met on the trek that we did. Do you remember? And every time there's a high-profile cancer diagnosis or a sad loss of life, it really, really hits them, as I know it does for probably anybody dealing with cancer, and it doesn't have to just be breast cancer. So.
Well, no, incidentally, the first date barman was in the press yesterday talking about his bowel cancer diagnosis.
Yeah. So the first text that I got this morning, I opened up my phone, and the first thing there was Hannah, my friend who a lot of you know, that we thought she had liver cancer this year because she'd had breast cancer 3 times and they thought it'd spread. And the first thing I saw on my phone today was cancer is really, you know, a bastard. Julia Bradbury has been, you know, diagnosed with breast cancer. She's done a great piece actually in the papers today, and she's donated her fee to breast cancer now, which is a very good charity.
Who has?
Julia, yeah. And so I was just thinking of all those people today that have had. You knew Jack. You worked with.
Yeah,
Julia,
I worked with her
didn't
for 2 or 3 years. At the launch of Channel 5, we used to do a show called Exclusive, and
she
was my
so
live presenter.
Shocked when you
Really
heard
shocked.
morning.
I mean, yeah, because you know, this is a gross generalisation, but she's always been very fit, and she's all, you know, you have this sense in your head, don't you, that you lived a healthy lifestyle. You know, way before she did the walking show.
Cancer doesn't give a shit about that.
No. And I mean, weirdly, whilst around her, when I worked with her, we were all going off the scales with everything. She was always a beacon of sort of responsibility.
No, well, she was saying in her article today that she feels she's only really looked after herself since she went to have children.
Well, compared to us lot, she was.
But you know, there was a really good article the other day from an oncologist. She was a breast cancer specialist who had got breast cancer herself, and had lived an exemplary life of, you know, had always been super healthy and all of this. And she said it makes her. She feels so sorry for people with cancer because she didn't like the undertones that were there about Sarah Harding, you know, people questioning whether she said, you know, cancer can just hit anyone, and we've got to stop this idea that like immediately going to, what did we do? What did we have? What did we... and it was a really powerful article actually from this woman, and I think we have got to stop, because I could hear that running all the way through actually Julia's article. You're looking to blame yourself in a way, you know, which is when you're... But hopefully it's really good. At the moment they think it's just in her milk duct, and so if that's the case, she's having a mastectomy in a few weeks, and then she may not need chemotherapy. Like my friend, Darts Your Tits Off, Kaz, she didn't have to have chemo. So you don't always have to have chemo. So yeah, we really are just like...
Good point, Laura Walker. Daily Mail headlines saying that she was skinny were terrible. I wonder if papers like the Daily Mail would ever make an apology for kind of commenting on someone's weight or look when they then get the news of something like this. I mean, it reminds me a little bit of Chadwick Boseman, you know? I mean, I remember commenting on Chadwick Boseman thinking, oh, he seems, you know, before we knew he was diagnosed with cancer, he always seemed so sad, or sort of not dour, but sort of removed from any of the press pushes and the press promos that he was doing and the junket interviews. There was a shadow over it. And of course, you know, after the event, you discover what the shadow is. So it's that thing of never judging how someone looks,
No,
and also
just
never
don't know
judging
what's going on for
judging
people.
how people are tonally, as long as they don't hurt you, obviously. You know, not making any snap judgments about them either. So yeah, our hearts go out to Julia. That's.
And she makes a real point, and I
She's
think
a
she
fighter,
wants
though.
this
She's a real
message.
fighter.
Oh my God! Like when you read that article, she's like
She's a proper...
this. But
She used to frighten me. And we filmed at the Cannes Film Festival, and when we'd done about 18 interviews and we couldn't do another, she'd be charging up Le Croisette saying, "No, we've got to get one more."
yeah.
She's all proper.
But you know, the thing that I think she really wanted to get across in this article was that she said, "Thank God I ticked my tick list," because the year before she'd gone from a mammogram and she had found a lump, and it was a collection of cysts. And they said, to be sure, have another mammogram next year, because usually it's every 5 years, I think, I don't know. And so she went back, and then they gave her an ultrasound, and they found like a slight shadow. So you've got to remember, it's not always a lump. You know, you've got to look for dimpling, you've got to look for skin irritation. You know, every first of the month, check your breasts. Just make it first of the month. I'll check my breasts, but you've got to really look at them, because we only think of the lump, and it's not always a lump. It can be other things. So she really wanted to get that message out in this article, that she had talked herself out of going back. She said, "Oh, there was nothing wrong. I'm not going to go." And her sister said, "Don't be silly, go."
Yeah.
So.
Judy Grindle, as a bowel cancer survivor, I feel the anxiety that goes with these moments.
Yeah. That's what. Yeah. So we just wanted to say this morning. We hear you, with my friends, knowing how this affects every time they have a bit of a need to talk about it, because it's there, but you want to sort of talk about it, I suppose, and then move on and learn something from it. And so yeah, she's got a bit of a journey to go, that's for sure, Julia Bradbury. But yeah, we wish her and her family all our love.
All our love and all the best, absolutely. So yes, other news today. That's obviously really sad, but I think again, it's not. You know, I mean, the important thing to remember, cancer isn't. It's not the end of the road.
It's not, and it's the message there is get there early. Yeah.
Now, I was boring you all to death probably with my CO2 story yesterday, wasn't I?
No, I didn't. I wasn't bored. I found it fascinating.
Well, yeah, it's a curious one, but I mean, you've probably seen it's all over the papers again. It's all over everywhere. My concern.
Give the headline of what you said yesterday.
The headline is that we are, due to gas prices going up and from Russia, not tripling, up by times 12. You know, the price of gas has gone up 12 times.
What about this statement from Russia saying that they haven't exceeded any agreements?
Yeah,
what was that?
Because there's
they
probably,
just say
if you go into the small print, there'll probably be some, if market forces dictate, then prices can go, you know, there'll be some clause. But anyway, this has had a knock-on effect on the production and availability of carbon dioxide, or CO2, which is crucial to manufacturing, storing, transporting, and all that kind of stuff. Food, drinks, obviously fizzy drinks, beers, all that kind of stuff, but also meat and things like that. Because keeping things frozen and cold. So, for example, we talk about it briefly in the Sunday show, you know, Ocado are reaching the end of being able to send out frozen goods because they haven't got the carbon dioxide to keep the freezers going. They can't store the food. And this is having this will have a knock-on effect along the chain. And I think what we're experiencing at the moment, whether it be CO2, COVID, lack of lorry drivers, Brexit, all these things, is that one part of the chain of connections and command gets knocked out, and it has a huge impact on the rest of the system.
Yeah.
And one of the major things, I mean, obviously I'm looking at this in a sort of UK self-interested, slightly indulgent angle, is that it could have a massive impact on Christmas. Insofar as turkey manufacturers are already, and turkey growers and turkey farmers and all that kind of stuff, are already talking about the CO2 shortage being a body blow for the Christmas turkey supply.
Well, you know what? I'm not going to panic. We'll just have something other
Well,
than
no,
tea.
and that's my
There's
point.
going to be no Brussels sprouts probably.
But also, you told me an interesting fact this morning that of the cargo holders coming from, or the cargo
There's
ships.
one particular toy store chain have said at this time of the year they would usually have 50 what are they called? Tankers. No, it wasn't that. Something like that on their way from China, and they actually only have 2. So there's going to be a shortage of toys as well. But again, we're just going to have to rethink, aren't we?
Well, I mean, we're going to have to rethink in a big way. But I wanted to ask you guys, is there a part of your Christmas that you could not imagine living without?
I see.
You know, is it turkeys? Because it looks like turkeys, chickens, and
roast
toys
potatoes
are going to be,
I couldn't do
in
without
short
roast
supply.
potatoes.
You couldn't do without. Okay.
My 2 favourite things on Christmas Day are lots of gravy, roast potatoes, and sausage rolls.
Right.
But there is going to be a shortage of sausage rolls because of the pork situation, because of Brexit.
Yeah. MeTube says Christmas pigeon it is. Martin Smith says on the news it also said it would affect chicken supplies. Now, the government came out with a statement yesterday that for me, it entirely backfired against what they were trying to do. They said there's no imminent danger to our carbon dioxide supply and gas supply.
How far does imminent go?
Yeah.
What about...
Well, and
month
also
are we talking
saying there's no imminent
Might mean next
danger
week.
means that there's clearly imminent danger at some point.
Yeah.
So I think the government are going to have to manage this quite well. So, it'd be interesting to know what the truth is.
I'm going to look up the absolute definition of imminent.
Debbie Buckley.
What's the dates and times on imminent?
This is the thing. I think, is it going to push us all back into thinking, okay, well, Christmas needs to be about something far more than toys and food and or the food that you want. So Debbie Buckley says, as long as I have my family, I don't care.
Exactly.
Jackie Vellino, make your own sausage rolls and freeze them now. Where is your phone? Because it would be really good to get that story about
About what?
about nostalgic dishes that I sent to you. There's your phone holder.
Oh, there it is. It's on the...
Oh, there you go. Horseradish. What could you not live without? What do you have to have there?
What do you have to have?
Chicken flavoured crisps.
Well, that's going to be all right. Mind you, there is a
I
shortage
don't know
of
though.
crisps.
Yeah. Do you need carbon dioxide to fill them with air?
Probably.
Zoe says, my dad was telling me that Northern Ireland isn't getting M&S Christmas food delivered this year, so I have to bring him loads of stuff home. There's a real shortage of stuff over there.
M&S are having a terrible time. I wonder if M&S wanted Brexit.
Roasted parsnips, says Ali Fraser. Be grateful for what you have because it could be gone tomorrow, but I can't live without mayonnaise. Says Nicole Marcella.
There's a recipe up on the channel on how to make your own mayonnaise.
Oh, Catherine Hamblin, can I join you? Going to midnight mass and the big bonfire. I don't know how the bonfire is Christian, but it's tradition. I've always wanted to go to bloody midnight mass.
Well, let's do it this year.
I really do. I like churches. I get great peace in the church.
From them. Where are we? What am I looking for? Oh, yeah.
So, Pigs in Blanket, Claire H. John Dobbins, so is KFC. One day there is gravy, next day there isn't. Remay W, do it. Sonia Donovan, Kitchen, Saz, fruity HP sauce. What else could you not? Gammon. Gammon, love twiglets at Christmas. Nicola Randall, I bought a big hotel chocolate gift box, which I'm going to separate into smaller gifts. What's that?
That's the article.
Oh, I see. Oh, crikey. Hang on.
Because I've got no charge and I don't want something to speak.
HRT shortages, not for Christmas, but right now. Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
Don't say that.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine the world plunged into no HRT? All those women. Do you know what? We might be able to sort the world out without our HRT because we'll all be like that.
Tracy Golden, isn't the moral that we all need to support British produce, pay a little extra for locally farmed meat and veg? I'm a vegan, so potatoes and parsnips all grown here in London.
Well,
I
absolutely.
think there's a truth in
But
that,
the thing is, I don't think, and this is again why we've got the problem that we've got with the world and why the planet is in such a mess, we can't produce enough.
Yeah.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah. Sage and onion stuffing with bread, that's how we do it. Ellery Jones.
Yum, yum. Okay, well, let's move on now to nostalgic dishes.
Oh, nostalgic dishes, yes. So this, where's the article gone?
It went down
there.
there.
Yeah, it's down here. Hang on. So the article was foods we ate when we were kids
Great
that
photos.
no one talks about
Anymore.
So this is like Spam. This is like
Look at the lovely old
crispy
picture.
pancakes. This is like Angel Delight. What things did you used to
Hang on, I
like
wanna
eating
show
as
them.
kids that no one talks about anymore? What things did you used to like eating as kids which no one talks about anymore? Egg in a cup, spam fritters from school,
I'm just looking
salmon
for
paste in the tiny jars. Do you remember that? Toast toppers. Oh yeah.
Aren't they? None
Tinned
of those
fruit and
available
condensed
anymore.
milk. Nut brittle. Do you remember that? Nut brittle.
brittle.
Vesta curry.
Look at the old spam tin. Is that still available? Look, and the
Oh.
crispy Findus pancakes. Cheddar
Sandwich
cheese.
spread. Do they make sandwich spread still?
Oh, I think so.
Bubble and squeak. But there used to be a huge section, didn't there, in the supermarket that used to just have sandwich spreads. Pineapple and cheese on sticks.
Oh, look at this.
Semolina with jam.
Pea wet is a local delicacy in parts of Greater Manchester.
Ooh.
Pea wet. Has anyone ever heard of that?
Emma Watson, boil in a bag. We used to have boil in a bags all the time.
Oh, of course. What there is no longer. Turkey Twizzlers.
Oh, are they not? Oh, yeah, of course.
Oh, no,
Bernard
not
Matthews,
after what
chicken
Jamie
dippers.
Oliver did.
Was it Bernard Matthews, turkey Twizzlers? Butterscotch Angel
There
Delight,
it is.
Nads.
Butterscotch Angel Delight. That's my favourite butterscotch.
Frey Bentos pie in a tin. They still make it, but I never buy them now.
Arctic. Oh, there we go. There's your Frey Bentos. There's your Frey Bentos.
Vesta curries. Do they not have
Oh,
Vesta
Vesta
curries?
curries. Oh, there's the spam. The old nostalgic spam tat.
Findus
spam.
crispy pancakes. Is that one of the ones you got? Sunny Delight. Do you
Well,
remember
because Sunny Delight, there was that absolute
Oh, yes.
furore, wasn't there, about the amount of sugar in it?
Yeah, my grandmother who raised me on one of two things, cheese and ham in pita bread or instant noodles with chopped up halloumi. She wasn't a good cook. Thankfully, Nadia taught me to cook. My God. That's, yeah. Oh, I've just been bitten on the side of my face. That's really odd. Potted herrings on a foam tray and plastic fork. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. There's some tapioca. Oh my God, tapioca pudding. I remember that at school and they put a blob of jam in the middle of it and you'd spiral it around, wouldn't you?
Vesta chow mein. Me and my sisters were just obsessed with the advert for that because you'd get the curly prawn crackers on top. We never had one, but we wanted one of those so badly. My mum was like, no, because everything with my mum was made from scratch.
Elijah's. I had pigs, trotters, and tripe. Wow. Nicole Marcella. Quenchy cups. What are quenchy cups? Do you know how many
Never
kinds
heard of them.
Spinner's End says, do you know how many kinds of spam there are? I think there's like 30.
Is it?
30.
Blancmange, yeah,
Blancmange.
Dahlia.
Bread and dipping. Your mum loves that, doesn't she? Bread and dipping.
Oh, dripping. Yeah, bread and dripping.
So what is
Beef
dripping?
Dripping, you know when you cook the beef
Yeah.
and then you're left with the fat and the juice underneath, the juice jellifies and the fat goes to hard wine.
Yes.
That's my mum's favourite thing, spread on bread.
Ah,
But also if you cook roast potatoes in that, it's delicious.
right, okay.
Roast potatoes cooked in beef dripping is the best.
Wow. Bread and butter pudding, ice magic, yeah.
Oh, ice magic that you would squeeze and it would harden on the
On the ice cream.
Yeah.
Oh, I used to love that. Ox tongue. My nan used to have. I remember going to their fridge and finding an enormous tongue just lolling, looking at me, just like that. It's horrendous.
Oh, hang on. Yes, we say pet wet. It's from Northwest. It's usually from a chippy.
Laura
And you
S.
just have to juice from the peas on your chips.
It's good.
The juice of the peas.
It's good, she says. Iced magic. No doubt what made it go hard is top
Exactly, Sharon.
Push
It's
pop.
probably played a huge part in global warming.
Now, I haven't.
As we're finding absolutely everything does.
Yeah. I haven't popped this other story that I was.
Karen Oliver still gets ice magic in Australia.
Oh, yeah. Liver and onions. Oh,
Cheryl
God, no.
Newby, corned beef hash. That's an old favourite.
I haven't popped this story in the title, but I just wanted to ask a question of you guys because we discuss it on the Sunday show, which is, are we in danger of, you know how we're there's a big debate on, you know, assisted dying and whether we could have the choice to do that. Do you think that vets and veterinary technology and developments in medical science mean that pets are being kept alive for longer than they should in some instances? Do you think there's a possibility of that being the case? Because there is I forget what it's called Ethics, Vets Ethical something or other. It's a sort of charity or a study group or whatever, have looked into it, and there's a concern that some animals are having their lives prolonged even though their quality of life is much, much diminished for the sake of owners. And I just wanted to get, because I know you're all pet owners, pet lovers, and I just wondered what your thought on that is, oh, my stomach, did you hear my stomach then? It just kind of went, wow. Possibly, yes, I've often thought that Dixon Summit. Sarah Sutton, yes, and to make a hell of a lot of money doing it. I mean, they do, it does feel like they sort of throw a dart at a board and just hit a figure.
It is difficult to know what... I mean, we found this, didn't we, Chi-Chi? The numbers that were being quoted. And they're not quoted with options or with truthful...
Yeah, you're not given choices.
Yeah, because predictions, you want the truthful predictions. So if they say, well, you know, this is going to cost £5,000, for instance, but we've got to be honest, this may only prolong your dog's life for five to 6 months, and they could be in considerable... We didn't get any sense of what could be what the situation could be.
They give you no sense of whether...
And then you feel guilty for asking because you don't want to look like... But actually, however much you love your pet, you cannot put yourself in debt for your pet. It would be madness. I think there needs to be a bit of an overhaul of how that conversation happened.
A little bit like there was an overhaul of how the costing of funerals had to be examined and looked into and all that kind of stuff. I think there should be something likewise, because it's dangerous. I mean, you know, obviously most vets are there to help and what have you, but it's a story that's basically, I think it's in the Observer today. Tracy Golden, yes, as a groomer, I see some awful things. Dogs that have to be carried outside to the loo as they can't walk on their own legs. Catherine Hamlin, my vet was great with my dog. He kept her in and spoiled her for a few days. It was like a dog hospice. I feel sorry for Noel Fitzpatrick, and his dog Kira has died and he is broken-hearted. I mean, there are some vets, though, that feel that what he does takes things way beyond where you should. And I mean, I've sometimes wondered with that show whether it's about, just because we can do it, does it mean we do it?
I mean, I suppose it's very much like humans, isn't it? I mean, I think sometimes we go too far with humans. You know, like they used to say, didn't they? What was it that a friend of mine was saying the other day, that when a nurse said to her, or pneumonia, an old person's friend, and this friend of mine said she was so enraged because her father was ill at the time that she wanted to punch this nurse because her father had pneumonia. She said, but then down the line, when she saw all the things that her father had to go through to prolong his life, so his last 2 years of his life were spent not very nicely, she rethought what that nurse had said to her 2 years before, with pneumonia being the old person's friend. Because, you know, he may well have just fallen, you know, died in his sleep. It's a question as much for humans, I think, as it is for...
That's what Mitra was saying. Tracy Golden, I have a client who spent $14,000 on 2 new hips for a 12-year-old retriever. The dog couldn't walk well and PTS after 4 months. Idiot vets.
Wow. Now, it's scurrilous.
You see, I think there's got to be a responsibility to people who can't afford, because I think they know they're trading in people's hearts and souls and minds and children and all that kind of stuff. And I do think so that people don't get suspicious of vets or the veterinary industry, I think there should be, someone just said, a sort of list of ethical vets, or, you know, it's the same with dentistry. As soon as there's any financial element to it, but you have no other choice. So there's no like NHS of vets, is there? So because it's just a paid for industry, it's kind of like, how do we unpack that? How can you get accountability for those elements that you're paying for? So,
I mean, the thing is, the most precious thing in the world is your dog.
Faith Goodman sometimes uses emotional blackmail.
And somebody says £14,000 and you can keep the most precious thing in the world. I mean, imagine, transfer that to your child. And that's where I think it's responsibility of vets to step in and say, listen, it's time to let go. Because, but I also really sympathise, and of course this is only some vets, we're not wiping out the whole, and we've had very good experiences with vets. This is more stories that we've heard. But I wonder how good their training is on that. You know, like we hear all the time that doctors' training is very lacking, the amount of training given to bedside manner and all of that. But also, you know, the thing is, vets struggle with money.
They do.
Even though they charge a lot, apparently they really, really do struggle. They don't get the same startups that doctors do.
We discovered that when we did the film about dog food. I mean, you know, it's and apparently depression is one of the highest
suicide rates
for depression in
professional
in a
jobs.
professional area.
It's vet. And I think you touched on with that in that documentary, that a lot of that is that actually they find it very difficult to keep putting animals down.
Yes.
So sometimes it might not be that they're being scurrilous. It's like their love is for animals, and they too don't want this animal to die, you know.
Yeah, the assumption is you take anything anywhere, you want to keep everything alive for as long as possible. But I mean, it's not necessarily always the way.
It's like the doctor
Hi,
that
Karen
would be looking after a child with cancer, and will want to do absolutely everything to keep that child alive. And sometimes children, I think, go through too much for too long because of this. And whatever happens, we have to keep these living things that we love so much alive. So,
Absolutely agree.
Right, guys, hit the like button if you are enjoying spending time with us today, as much as we're enjoying spending time with you, because though we can't hear your voice, we are very much in conversation with you.
And we're going to have to go because I've got to get the Sunday show done. The reason looting was in London was there was a terrible fracas on Oxford Street where someone was wielding a gun. But and this is just symptomatic of life. As everyone was dealing with a person running around with a possible gun to shoot it, everyone else started looting the shops.
It scares the hell out of me.
It's a bit frightening.
What is going on?
Hi, Lisa Jane.
Hi, Lisa Jane. And I saw somebody there that joined that. Come on, guys, get the like button just underneath me to 200. We never like to on less than 200. Was asking how they get their card that they won in the members live yesterday. So go to Michelle's email address and just put in the subject card winner, and then just simply put your address underneath.
It was yesterday on Oxford Street.
Yesterday. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
And do we want to just quickly touch on what low traffic neighbourhoods?
Yeah, well, the low traffic neighbourhoods finally, I don't know if you've got low traffic neighbourhoods around you where they've blocked all the roads and they've got sort of, they try and sort of charm you with a sort of flower box and all this kind of stuff. Studies have shown that they create more CO2 emissions because there's queues and there's traffic jams everywhere else.
But they did near us. We couldn't believe it. Choking, everywhere jams. And even the people in the street that supposedly it's closed for them to make it nicer for them, they all hate it as well.
Well, Ealing Council in London have axed 7 LTNs, as they're called, low traffic neighbourhoods. They were found to have increased traffic on surrounding streets. And they also made no material change to air quality.
Of course they wouldn't, because there's bloody traffic jams everywhere.
It's one of those decisions that when they did them, you looked at them and you just thought, it's ridiculous.
I mean, for a long while, we couldn't move in our area at all. That had always been free-flowing, just chugging out the fumes.
It's ridiculous. And one other detail, just that I didn't cover it in the Sunday show, was electric cars. Apparently, there are fewer accidents in electric cars, not because there are fewer electric cars, obviously, but apparently there's something called range fear. People aren't driving their electric cars. Guess why? They're too worried they're going to run out. Yeah.
My friend's got an electric car. He said it's a nightmare. He said it's a bloody nightmare. Because you can think, I'll get there and I'll plug it in, and then the thing doesn't work.
Like your phone.
Because that happened to him, and then the thing didn't work. I don't know what it's called.
They've got to sort that shit out.
Lisa
Okay,
Jane,
guys.
the Sunday show is in our family guest area. It's where we have extra content. It's 50 pence a week. And people that are members there absolutely love it. And there you get the Sunday show. So imagine it's like buying a mag for 50 pence a week. So it's like an hour and a half show. We do cookery, we do the news, we do my dad tells stories from his life, which are just lovely. We do book reviews. Yeah. Our daughter Maddie does a brilliant, almost half hour of all the funny things that have happened online.
Social media.
For lots of people, it's the favourite bit of it. And then also we do a members live every week. And then we also do, and it's the first one this week, we do a lottery that all the members can answer a question and enter the lottery. We use a digital tombola machine. That's Mark's name for it, which I quite like. And then we pick out a winner. And then that winner, Michelle does it with the digital Google tombola. And we then will film a personalised film for you or for somebody. It might be their birthday or their wedding anniversary or something like that. So that's what goes on regularly on the
Someone drew my attention to the other day the fact that actually, I think it might have been Caesar, that it's $1.99 a month, which is actually less.
Oh.
So it's something like £1.30 a month, which means
thank you, Caesar.
Per week, he said, you're getting actually what you're getting for something like 37p.
I'm sorry, there is no better bargain, because that hour and a half show we put out on a Sunday is absolutely the equivalent of a TV show.
Well, in terms of
It's
variety,
filmed on a TV camera. It's edited beautifully. You know, you get 2 gorgeous dishes as well. You know, it's just we're really proud of it.
That's a nice way to describe us. Anyway, guys, have a lovely
I love ya.
Sunday. And yeah, lots of stuff will be